On today's Toy Spot, we are having a look at the Playmates Toys Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows Krang. As interested as I am to see Rocksteady and Bebop, I am so thrilled to see the Dimension X, the Technodrome, and of course Krang. I think I've kind of become disinterested in Krang when we had the Krang in the Nickelodeon series. But to me, Krang will always be the little brain guy inside the body of a giant robot. And that seems to be what we're going to be getting, more a nod to the classic 80s cartoon, and not so much a nod to the stuff that would come after that. Krang, also one of the harder figures to find in stores. It comes to us from the folks over at Playmates Toys, recommended for ages 4 and up. As for the back of the package, you've got the cast of characters that are going to be appearing in the movie, from the brothers, the side characters, Casey Jones, Splinter, and of course all the baddies. New York City, an old menace returns, new mutations arise, the ultimate showdown approaches. Our heroes must rise up again to save the city they love, even if it means exposing themselves for who they truly are. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. To check out more from the line of turtles, or check out other things turtle related, you can go to www.playmatestoys.com. You can also go to www.teenagemutantninjaturtlesmovie.com as well. Spot's going to take a break and get this opened up. When we come back, though, we're going to get a better look at Krang. There's more heading your way, guys. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned. Okay, so let's have a look at Krang, who's now out of the package. Now, being a purist and kind of looking at the original 80s cartoon is kind of like my starting point for the Turtles, the Turtles property. I think they did a pretty good job here with Krang. He looks a lot like he does in the original cartoon. He looks a lot like he does in the appearances of Krang, like in, Turtles in Time, and, stuff like that. I think he turned out pretty good. I don't really have many issues with him. I guess one issue, I wish he was taller. I wish he was bigger. I wish he was like more of a deluxe-sized, taller figure. As a comparison, which I'm sure people will want to see, there he is next to Shredder. He is bigger, yes, and maybe, maybe in the movie this is how big he is. But I think Krang, I just think like big, not gargantuan size, but a large enough Krang that it just looks big and menacing and imposing. I wish he was a little bit bigger, but you know what, again, until we see the movie, we don't quite know how big he is. Although the one kind of scene that we've seen in the trailer where he's fighting on the rooftops against the turtles, he seems like he dwarfs the turtles as he's spinning his arms around. I feel like a comparison to Leonardo, I feel like Krang should be like kind of up to there versus as big as he is here. But I'm happy. I'm just happy he looks like Krang. He doesn't look like, humans disguised Krang. He just looks like a big mechanized humanoid robot. And of course, Krang will be sitting inside. Things that carried over from the original cartoon. He's got kind of that visor eye face. He's got the kind of suspender straps going around the back over area of his shoulders. But I mean, again, he still looks mechanized enough. He doesn't look ridiculous. I think they've kind of bridged a good place between having him look more realistic, more high-tech, but still, being a good service to the fans. Let's have a look at Krang. Krang himself, which is rubbery. He's a soft, rubbery brain with lots of little tendrils and tentacles sticking out of with his legs. He is hollow, but I mean, that's okay, because he is going to be tucked into the Krang, the android body. By the way, to tuck the android body, or Krang into the android body, the best thing to do is kind of fold the legs in, because you need to kind of get everything in Krang, you have to kind of get sandwiched into the robot. It's not easy. I will admit, it's not super easy to kind of get him in there, because it seems like there's so much of him that you have to cram into the body. And, once you kind of get him in there, then you can kind of tuck the other legs in. But there's a lot of little leg components on Krang that involves you then having to tuck inside the body of the android. So you might want to just, again, put Krang's body in first, and then just from there, kind of adjust the legs accordingly. You could have a couple of the legs sticking out if you want. You kind of have his more arm components sticking out, you know, and then just tuck the rest of the legs in. But it just involves a lot of adjusting to get Krang in place. And again, you, depending on how you want him, you could have a lot more of him tucked in, like tuck more of the legs in. You can have just some of the arms sticking out. It's whatever you want. But there's an idea of what he kind of looks like from the back. There are areas that you could kind of pull the legs through and that they would just stick out the back. I don't really like them sticking out the back, even though there is a clearance for that. But I think, again, if he was a little bit bigger and Krang stayed about the same size, then everything would kind of fit into place. There's Krang inside there. I don't know, maybe we will get a larger sized figure. Coloring is good, that flesh color, but then now they've introduced, above and beyond the lighter gray, which we've seen before, instead of like red aspects of Krang's android body, which, you know, in the original cartoon you would have had, now they've got more of a gunmetal, silver gunmetal gray that makes up the lower areas of his legs and especially the areas of his shoulders. I like how he's got not fingerless gloves, but how he's got the mechanized robot fingers sticking out from the hands. I like that. I like that. When it comes to his posability, now, for the most part, he's good. Kind of has a bit of an issue with posability that I wish one thing they would have done differently, but he does have a ball joint in the head. He has, now this is what I'm talking about here, he has a swivel point in the arms, and the arms don't do the greatest of jobs of moving around. They're really stiff, and you have to apply a lot of pressure to get the arms to rotate around. They will obviously loosen over time. He does have a hinge in the elbow, and he has no articulation in the wrists. This is the one thing I wish that they could have done. Kind of like what we saw with Rocksteady and Bebop. I wish that the shoulders were hinges so that you could have actually rotated the arms out, and you could have actually almost have done it where it looked like he was spinning. At least that's what it looks like he's doing in the movie. He's spinning his torso. But it's a shame that his arms don't hinge out. It's one of the only figures, in fact, I think it is the only figure from this line that doesn't have a hinge in the shoulders. Kind of wish that they had done that. Legs, as you can see, don't have that issue. Forward and back motion, they rotate out. He has a hinge in the knee, which also rotates the lower leg, so at least that's not relegated to strictly just a hinge. But yeah, I kind of wish he did have hinges in his shoulders. Now, we saw comparisons with him and Shredder. Some of the other comparisons let's make with, well, there he is next to Rocksteady. Feeling again like he could be just a little bit taller than Rocksteady. And there's also a comparison of him next to Bebop. Comparisons between the two. Love the figure, just wish he was a little bit bigger. And wish he had posability in the shoulders. Krang, I think from the figure's releases, I think he might be a little bit harder to find. I don't know what he is per case. But I think overall, I like the figure. And my next thing I'd like to pick up is the Technodrome. And actually have Krang standing inside the Technodrome. Like, sit for a second. Stop and smell the coffee. We are actually getting a live-action Turtles movie that has Robot Krang, Rocksteady, Bebop, possibly Dimension X, we don't quite know yet, but a Technodrome. We're getting a Technodrome in a live-action Turtles movie. At least I think we are getting a Technodrome. But at least we are getting a Technodrome toy. It's a good time to be a Turtles fan. Today's toy spot, we were having a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows, Krang. Stay tuned, guys. Spot's going to have more toy spots heading your way. As always, thanks for watching. See you next time. Actually, just one thing Spot wanted to add on to this video. While he does have a hinge in the one elbow, which only hinges back and forth, what I did want to mention to you was that the other hand, which was a little bit smaller, does also have a rotation in the forearm area as well. It's not relegated simply to the hinge in this one arm. It's not the same on both sides. So in case you were wondering, in case maybe it did look a little bit different, yes, the forearm on this arm does have a rotation as well. See you guys next time.